This is the biggest game of the Chiefs' 2021 season coming up on Thursday night. And we just received word that Willie Gay Jr. as well as L'Jarius Sneed will not be playing. There's a possibility that Chris Jones won't be playing. So this defense that's done nothing but come out of playing like the worst defense in the NFL over the first 6 weeks of the season now faces an offense that can really do some things through the pass. They have a lot of weapons with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, that they're going to have to manufacture ways, not to mention Justin Herbert. They have to manufacture ways to create pressure, to create coverage, specifically without Willie Gay on Austin Eckler. They're going to have to generate different things to do to be able to cover this up, to get to Herbert quickly. And it becomes a very, very interesting topic. But on a better note, this is our film review for the week. We're going to discuss how the Chiefs can kind of manufacture some ways, what they can do defensively to keep themselves in this game. This is also a game the offense is going to have to cover for the defense a little bit. We all know that they've been able to switch on and off. Early in the season, the offense was able to put up numbers against this defense that wasn't doing very well. Offense is having a bit of a struggle. The defense has stepped up. So I think they've been able to kind of hand things off. I think that they're going to have to do the same thing on Thursday night. This is RGR Football. Welcome back, everybody. Daniel Harms here, film analyst. And like I said, we're doing our film review today. And it's going to be how the Chiefs can get out of LA with trying to do some of the same things they've been doing, keeping the defense in this game, trying to hold back Justin Herbert and the variety of weapons that they have in Los Angeles. This is going to be a very interesting game. So let's go ahead and get into some of the tape from the Raiders game so I can really start to break down what I think that really the key is to this game. And I think that we're all going to be agreeing at the end of this tape that there is one guy who this all falls on. So let's go ahead and get to it. First off, there's just something about the way Steve Spagnuolo has now game planned some of these games. They've figured out how to create pressure all the time, and they're able to do it in a variety of ways. Obviously, this clip contains Willie Gay Jr., who will not be playing, but I think you can realistically take out Willie Gay and put Nick Bolton in there on a blitz like this, okay? This is what they call that cross dog blitz, and now they don't create actual pressure, okay? So what do? So this is very fun from Steve Spagnuolo. So you have obviously your defensive ends here and defensive tackles. They're going to blitz, and what they're going to do is they're going to take the guard and tackle away. They're just going to rush up this way, and they're going to rush up this way, all right? So that creates a one-on-one with linebacker in the center. And then you have the running back here also blocking. So he's got to come up. So what they're trying to do is create an open passing lanes through the A-gaps that the linebackers can now loop through. They call him a cross dog because he's coming across his face and he's coming across his face here, just to try and confuse either the center or the running back into these situations. And what they end up doing is they pull both Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram into coverage, okay? And they end up doubling your slot receiver here with safety and the other safety, Tyrann Mathieu. And what does that leave? That leaves one-on-one situation on the outside, and then you have a deep middle safety, which ends up being Dan Sorensen. So all of this is just to create a little bit of chaos, and it gives Derek Carr two options. Wherever he's looking is basically going to be the option because he's going to feel pressure in his face quickly. That's because linebackers coming downhill can be pretty fast, okay? I do believe that this would be an area Nick Bolton can be used on Thursday against the Chargers. The offensive line for the Chargers is not great, so I think you have that ability to do the same type of blitzing action with Nick Bolton and Anthony Hitchens. You're going to have to facilitate a different way of playing. But again, what all they're doing, let's go back so you can actually see what I'm talking about with the coverage here. So you have Renfro here, and then you have the tight end on the other side. And this is where I was talking about. They just drop these guys, and then you have one responsibility. Just guard him. Eyes on, eyes on. So Derek Carr has nowhere to go with the football except just throw it deep, or he's going to feel pressure in his face. So he's going to want to get rid of the football. Again, that's what all this is about, is creating a quick throw and a low percentage throw, okay? That's what they're going to try to make Justin Herbert do on Thursday night, is have these low percentage throws. If you make him comfortable and allow him to, get outside and find a free man, that's where he's going to be most dangerous. They have to keep him in the pocket and force a quick throw. I know that he's been good against the blitz and against pressure, but if you can create the type of coverage that they've had on the back end where it's not a high percentage throw. Yes, Mike Williams has kind of been a Chiefs killer, so maybe you take a little bit of deception and you take that safety, you shade him to Mike Williams' side a little bit to give him a little bit more of a chance, because in those type of situations, that's where Justin Herbert will probably go with the ball. But this is what I mean with this cross dog. Cross the face of the center, and you come across this way. That's all it is. They end up picking it up, but right here, this is where I'm talking about. You have hands in the face, and you have offensive linemen on your doorstep as the quarterback. That's what makes the ball come out quickly. This is not designed for the defensive tackles to get pressure. This is only designed for the linebackers to get the lineman or the running back into the face of the quarterback, and therefore forcing a low percentage throw on the outside, specifically into coverage, and allow maybe one of your safeties to get over there in time. But again, it's a low percentage throw. They never had a shot there. So again, I do think that they can still create some of that pressure without Willie Gay. It's not going to be the same in coverage because Bolton doesn't have that. So you're going to see more Ben Neiman. You're going to see more Dan Sorensen in coverage. Not exactly what we want, but I do think you're going to see more of them blitzing because you still have that ability. Bolton can be out there for blitzes, and you're going to see, I do believe you're going to see him and Anthony Hitchens on the majority of those nickel sets because of the ability to run the football that the Chargers still want to bring. So this is a 3rd and 10, and this is ideally, you're hoping right now, we have not confirmed that Chris Jones is out of this game. So that means that he tested negative today, which is Wednesday. He can still play in the game if he comes up negative tomorrow. That's going to be a huge talking point. It's going to be a huge part of the game plan. And this also is to help us to see what they can possibly do without Chris Jones. Chris Jones is not replaceable, okay? That's not what you're looking to do. You're looking to alter some pressures. Find an area where you can get some pressures. I think that the emergence of Frank Clark down the last 6 games of the season has been one of those areas. I do apologize about the graininess of the film. It was not perfect this week, but pretty much you can see all the players, so that's all that really matters. Yeah, I'm going to show you what you're looking at. So again, Frank Clark on the opposite side here. Not only is this a well-diagnosed rush from Frank Clark, it's actually schemed up very well. You know how in basketball they isolate those guys one-on-one, so that they bring everybody down. If it's in one-on-one defense, bring everybody to one side or down below, and you have your one man with the ball up. So one guy in defense. So basically, there's no space around him. There's a ton of space around him. There's a ton of space. So you isolate one-on-one, and you that's an isolation offense or isolation defense, however you want to call it. That's what the Chiefs do with Frank Clark right here. Okay. He's going to be isolated on Colton Miller one-on-one, and Chris Jones is going to come across the face of the guard here, and they're just going to kind of shift the offensive line this way. It creates a giant A-gap, which as a tackle you have to be mindful of. You don't want to give too much to the outside because of that inside possibility. Frank Clark's spin move is still exceptional, okay? It's still very, very good. It's getting better as he's getting healthier. So that's what you want to look for here. Is all of the space created. You're going to see a much better view of it on the other side. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Look at how they just kind of muddle up the middle here. They muddle everything up. And it brings the running back, too, because you have Dan Sorensen, you've got Ben Neiman coming, too. They generate a good blitz. And you have to keep guys in for protection because, you never know who's going to end up sliding through. So it forces the running back to choose that side, okay? And that leaves Frank Clark one-on-one on the outside, where he's actually not fared well against Colton Miller in the last couple of years. He's healthy, and he dominated this matchup, okay? He was all over Colton Miller. This is, again, a much better angle. Just kind of get in there. They basically say, hey, Neiman, just go ahead and get in there. Make it so you're moving all of the offensive linemen, everybody shift over. Get Frank Clark one-on-one. And just everybody in the back end, they got 3 receivers out, just cover them. Make it so the throw can't get out in time. They did. They bracketed coverage in the back. They had guys underneath. They had Matthew underneath, obviously Thornhill as well. They did a great job of making this a perfect one-on-one pass rush situation for Frank Clark. again, it's all about that scheme. I think you can still scheme some things up without Chris Jones to help Melvin Ingram, to help Frank Clark create that pressure. Okay. Now this is where I think you need to have some guys step up. This game, just about like every other game, when you don't have your starters, you need some guys to step up. Okay. Tershawn Wharton, if Chris Jones doesn't play, is going to be a huge part of that. He doesn't have, obviously, the explosion speed that Chris Jones has, because Chris Jones has special elite type of explosion and speed. We've seen Wharton's ability to create that type of speed. It's not the exact same, obviously, because Chris Jones is bigger and he's faster, so that the athleticism there is definitely telling. But I do think that Wharton provides an ability to create speed and create one-on-ones. The Chiefs did a very good job of having Jerron Reed focus solely on some of the double teams and get Chris Jones in one-on-one situations. They do that by lining up Reed on one side into this A gap here. They have Jones as the 3-tech, more on the guard. And that's just naturally how it is, because you have to still worry about Melvin Ingram on one side, and Jerron Reed is a big, powerful guy. You want to be able to help there. And with Chris Jones' ability to come around still from a 3-tech position on a guard and get underneath a tackle, that is the kind of speed generation and one-on-one ability that he brings. And it's all based on scheme, because typically you're going to see Chris Jones get doubled a lot. But the addition of Jerron Reed and moving him around in specific situations in those A gaps are what frees Jones up to be one-on-one a lot of times. And even in this game, he had sacks and he got so many pressures based off of one-on-ones. And they can still do that. They can generate those with Tershawn Wharton. He's not going to win as fast, but I do think that you can still create a lot of that with him. But he's got some strength to him too. So this is a great job of Melvin Ingram just throwing the tackle into Derek Carr. That's just what he does. He just takes him and throws him. The strength that Melvin Ingram has this point in the NFL season is huge. And that's, by the way, an elite celebration from a different from Tershawn Wharton. He's just going to be the guy to help get this down, and then he's just going to celebrate. Look at this. Look at this celebration. Perfect. It's great. He's having fun. Everyone's having fun. And this is how you have to do it. Again, Melvin Ingram just throws the tackle into the lap of Derek Carr. Okay? That's the first part. And then Wharton's able to get there. Why is he able to get there? Because the coverage on the back end is great. Now, Snead's not playing in this game. Snead didn't play in this game against the Raiders, so they can still have some success with Rashad Fenton. Mike Hughes is going to be playing. Hopefully he rides that high he had and continues to play well. The Chargers exposed him the last time they played, okay? I think he's going to have that in the back of his mind. He's going to have everything he just did against the Raiders on his mind, and that's going to hopefully project him and propel him to play at that level again this week. He was not just great with the turnovers, but he was sticky in coverage, and he was really all over the place. So that's going to be something I'm looking forward to seeing in this game. Hopefully, Jones gets cleared. But again, Tershawn Wharton's speed, quickness here, boom. He doesn't, Leatherwood does a good job of keeping with him, but this is where he can separate himself, okay? He has strength still. Just forklifts the offensive lineman. And then he's still got length. You've got two guys here in his face of Derek Carr. What's he going to do? He's not going anywhere because the coverage on the back end is so good. And you still have Frank Clark coming in from Derek Carr's left. So they did a good job of getting everyone matched up properly. I think Tershawn Wharton's speed and quickness can be something utilized in this game, something that he's going to have to play much like he did last year. We haven't seen that Tershawn Wharton this year, and whether it's due to playing time or just him having that sophomore slump in the NFL adjusting to his game a little bit, he's going to have to take a step up, okay? This is another area that I really think that they can improve upon. Excuse me. So you have Mike Dana here, and you have Alex Okafor, who also, by the way, is healthy and displaying a lot of very good strength lately. He's going to have to play a big part too, but technically, you have 4 defensive ends, okay? Yeah, Chris Jones is the defensive tackle, but every one of them have played, can play, and do play defensive end at times. Frank Clark here in the middle, Mike Dana on the outside. You got the 2 Michigan guys are going to do an excellent job of using a stunt. I think they can use more stunts in this game, specifically, especially if Rashawn Slater doesn't play, which I don't. We don't know yet. We're going to find out later. If he doesn't play, you're going to have not just an inexperienced offensive lineman, you're going to have a bad offensive lineman in there. And that's how you can expose them using these stunts. Their offensive line hasn't been good very much this year. And I do think you can use that to the Chiefs' advantage with Dana. He does a great job here. Okay. It's all about generating a pressure. You don't need to get a tackle, okay? You just got to get the ball to come out in a favorable position for you. And that actually drew a penalty because Ward was able to pick that off. Just look how he's able to get there, okay? I almost didn't get to pause that really quick, but Mike Dana does a really good job of selling this. And obviously Frank Clark coming into this B gap here, right there, getting his hands on the tackle, but he's in the tackle right here. Mike Dana is. He's like, he got a hand in here and he's showing like I'm going to push you back now. But instead he loops around. It's just to give enough fake to that tackle. Say, look, I'm coming at you. And then I'm gone. And obviously, I think Frank got a little bit of hand there. But that's good. It's all about selling it. And they did an excellent job of selling it. I do think that more stunts this week. More of the defensive ends playing inside. Specifically, I think Dana, Clark, Okafor all can see more time on the inside to help get back what you don't have if Chris Jones doesn't play. All about creating some of that internal pressure. And again, Tershawn Wharton ability in this game is going to be very big. Strength here. Look at this. He just manhandles that guard and then throws himself at Josh Jacobs. Like, this is the kind of effort that we hadn't seen in the gameplay we haven't seen from Tershawn Wharton this year, which, this was a big game for him. I think you can be able to improve upon that. He had 4 pressures in this game. That's the most he's had this season. So, again, just look at the torque he creates with his upper body, throws him off, and gets on him. So that's something else that I think that you're going to see more of. You're definitely going to see more of Tershawn Wharton playing. But Jerron Reed and Derek Nottie are still going to be your 1 and 2 on rundowns. I think that Wharton can create some of what Chris Jones brings. But you're going to have Jerron Reed have his best game day or his best day as a Chief on Thursday night. And if he's seeing more double teams, look for Tershawn Wharton to get some of those one-on-ones and have to create some success for himself. This play is just a lot of fun because Mike Dana is basically going to level all of these offensive linemen he goes up against. He's going to throw them all to the ground. Okay, so just look at this. He's got 2 guys and he just disposes of 3 of them. He ends up stacking up 3 Raiders on this play. That's the reason I put it in here. I see him taking this extra lineman, and then you have the puller. He doesn't move, okay? He ends up turning them and just throws them all down, okay? And then gets off. Like, that's just impressive. It's fun to watch, and I just wanted you guys to see it because I saw it, and I was thinking, like, wow. You don't really notice Mike Dana do a whole lot anymore in this game, but that's because he's not a starter anymore. He wasn't a starter to begin with, but you're seeing now that he's still got some potential. I do think you can move him on the inside a little bit, create some straight upfield pressure with his strength. Then that can help this Chiefs team create more pressure. And like I said, at the end of the day, you're not necessarily trying to always get the sacks. You want to hit Justin Herbert. You want to get pressure on him. You want to take these offensive linemen, drive him into his lap, force him to make quick throws where he's not as good. He wants to get the ball downfield. If he's forced to do that earlier than he wants to, I think you can have some success. He's still going to be able to do some things because Justin Herbert is just that good. He's a crazy good athlete, incredible arm. He's very, very good quarterback. We're just trying to find a way to get out of this game without L'Jarius Sneed, without Willie Gay, and possibly without Chris Jones on the defensive side. It's big. So really what it comes down to, the head is and everything is on Steve Spagnuolo, okay? This game is going to be on Steve Spagnuolo. If they can do everything they've done on the defensive side of the ball against the Chargers, it's going to be because Steve Spagnuolo has a game plan prepared for that offensive line, prepared for that offense, and this is one of those things that he does very well. He schemes up blitzes. He schemes things up properly, okay? No one blitzes on this play, but he makes every offensive lineman think somebody could be coming. So first off, again, you have 1, 2, 3. Technically, Chris Jones is shaded to the inside of this center. But again, you have all this space. So you have Matthew, and you have Bolton are looking like they could come. Also, Anthony Hitchens and Willie Gay. All showing at some point, look, we could all be coming, okay? Or some of us could come, some of us could drop. At the end of the day, Steve Spagnuolo changing up these blitzes, showing that he can create. You're going to have to find a linebacker to contribute, whether it's, Ben Neiman, whether it's Dan Sorensen. Someone's going to have to find a way to get to the quarterback, and that's what it's going to come down to, because they're not going to do their part in coverage, okay? We all know that. We've seen it. So just showing that any one of these guys could blitz creates a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, you have then two insane athletes on the left side of the defensive line, and Melvin Ingram and Chris Jones, that make it so much better. So this tight end is actually just gonna leak off. So manned up, he doesn't have the greatest angle to try to corner this tackle, so he doesn't have to do that. Instead, he delays a little bit. Okay, just a little bit of a delay, and then comes inside. Boom. That's what you have to do, okay? It's creating pressures. That's what they do. They do best. They're creating more pressures. They've been creating a ton of pressures over the course of the last 6 weeks. And again, here's what I'm talking about with that, when I mentioned earlier, scheming up a double team. You can get that also by making the offensive line think you could have guys coming over here. So you communicate to the right side and to the guy blocking, to the guys that are play action faking. Here, look, I'm going to have you go to the right because the offensive line needs to kind of kick to the left in this situation, because we could have linebackers coming. End up not being that case, and they double here. But again, if you never know. That's what Spags does best. He makes it so you don't know. And that's, wow, that was not good. Come on, go away. Then you see it again. Much better this time, so it doesn't have all that static. Creating one-on-ones for Chris Jones. That's what it's all about. The fullback is just biding his time to be able to get out for a route, and Chris Jones just blows by this guard. Then all of that creation just makes it so Ingram can come underneath. I think that you can still create this kind of confusion. Leatherwood had a terrible game against Chris Jones. He had a terrible game, period. He's not a very good guard. He wasn't a very good prospect in terms of being a first round, in my opinion, but you can take advantage of these guys, and that's what Ingram and Jones do right here. Ingram knows he can come around, use that stunt possibility to get around, because Jones is coming right here. So you turn the guard to the side right there, and then he knows he's got free pass to the quarterback. Okay, all it comes down to. That is what it comes down to. And like I said, at the beginning of this, I said it's going to come down to one person only, and that's Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo is going to be able to find ways to generate more pass rush. I think that now you've got an identity with this defense. You have Melvin Ingram. You have some pieces now in the back end that are playing properly. They're playing really good defense. I think that the corners are playing well. Hopefully you have Mike Hughes step up. Rashad Fenton feels more healthy, and obviously you're going to have Tyrann Mathieu more in the slot. I think that that's okay. He can clearly do it. He did an excellent job of it on Sunday against the Raiders. So yeah, this is all comes down to. Let's hope Chris Jones gets cleared. They're going to have to find ways to get Nick Bolton in more blitzing situations. Being in coverage is not going to be good for him, specifically against Austin Eckler and bigger tight ends like Jared Cook and Donald Parham, who was like 6'7". So they're going to have to find ways to create positive pressure situations and situations for Nick Bolton to be successful in pass coverage and in blitzing situations, because he's not a great coverage player. And you have to be able to utilize the players you have in the field more. He's going to be on the field more. He's going to play more snaps like he did early in the season. I do think that helps them in the run game, because I think that him being on the field more anyway, his natural instincts go downhill quickly. And he was all over the field again against the Raiders in the run game. And they played him more in passing situations too. So he's getting more comfortable. He's getting better at it. So again, this is going to be a Steve Spagnuolo clinic. He's going to have to come with everything and really do a good job of scheming things up like he has in the last 6 weeks to keep Justin Herbert on his toes. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous about it, but this is going to be a fun game. It's going to go back and forth. I really do think it'll be close. But this is the most important game of the season. The offense has to come up now and bring the defense up. They've got some people not playing, and this is going to all come down to whether they can come through in clutch like they have continuously in the past. I hope you guys enjoyed this film review. It was a lot of fun. I'm hoping that you got some insights into what I think they can do and what they should do against the Chargers. Hopefully we see that reflected on Thursday night. I hope you guys have a great day. You have any questions, comments, concerns, be sure to leave them in the comment section of the video. You can always hit me up at Twitter or on Twitter at InHarmsWay19 if you have any questions. Be sure to check out the post game after Thursday, whether it's myself or Seth joining Ryan. We will be doing that. And just more content coming for you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.